Good evening. It is Monday, March 31st. It is 20 after 6. This is the Law and Ordinance Committee. I am Jeffrey Wood, and I am joined tonight by Mrs. Marshall and Mr. Twiss. We have three items on our agenda tonight. The first is a recommendation to the council regarding amending the public records policy and the fee schedule in accordance with Ohio House Bill 315. I would call up Chief McKenna up to see if he would give us an update on this.
Certainly. Good evening. Thank you. House Bill 315 is effective, I believe, April 9th of this year, and would allow us to charge $75 per hour of video produced to public records requests for different video surveillance public records requests we get. This is based upon the actual costs to us. When you look at our clerks and clerk typists that do these records requests, it takes them approximately 3 hours to produce 1 hour of video. In addition, what we're seeing is that in addition to the body cam video, our cruisers also have 3 separate views. So a lot of these video requests include any and all video. That's all video. That's kind of the standard request. So they're not only doing the body-worn camera video, but they're also having to redact the in-car camera video in the back seat, which includes a microphone, the wide camera view, and the regular camera view. It takes a considerable amount of time. A majority of these requests are coming from all over the United States, from YouTubers, Instagrammers, people that are basically monetizing these. We looked at them today. So far in 2025, we've received 41 of these requests. And let me give you an example of what one of them was for. A gentleman asked for, from July 1st, 2024 to July 31st, 2024, he wanted any uses of forces, including but not limited to implied inferred use, threatened use, or actual use of force of a firearm, the use of any less lethal weapon, any physical use of force that would require any force other than total voluntary submission or compliance from a suspect. He wanted any vehicle pursuits, any foot pursuits, any traffic stops or self-initiated activity involving DUI investigations, including physical control, and traffic stops other than self-initiated activity for any call of service related to a narcotics investigation or any of arrest of a person of impaired on drugs or alcohol. So you can imagine that this is several reports. To a certain point, this request was a little too vague, and we were unable to fulfill all of it, but it takes a considerable amount of time. I believe the state has heard from other law enforcement agencies, including ourselves, of the burden that this places on us. The bill also requires us, or we can require payment up front for up to $75 an hour, figuring it's a 3-to-1 ratio when you look at what our clerk's salary is, plus their benefits, plus the software we are required to have to redact video, and then the support we have to pay for that, and the IT we have to pay to keep that video going. It's easily over $75 per hour for us to redact videos. The maximum you can be charged for any one video request is $750. That's also capped by the House law. There would be exemptions. I reached out to Mr. Kerber about this law. We've been discussing it. Victims would be exempt under the Marcy's Law exemption. If the person identified themselves as a victim in that case, they would not be charged for this. The other exemption is, and which we try to encourage people to do if they're involved in the case, if they or their attorney subpoena the case into court, they would not be charged. It's an unredacted copy. It's a subpoena. We must comply with that, and there's no fee for that.
Okay. So you've had 41 requests this year, and I know the House Bill 315 was originally designed, just as you stated, to stop the monetization of these. Do we know how many are from citizens within the city? And
so 41 are suspected YouTubers. We don't know exactly. Most of these are online requests, and the way the Ohio records law is set up, you don't really have to identify yourself or tell me where you live or anything, but 41 of them we suspect are from YouTubers. We've averaged about 3 a week this year from, anything from insurance companies to citizens that want to know about a case that their neighbor was involved in or their friend was involved in or they were, ancillary involved in it. And attorneys. Attorneys sometimes request a public records request instead of doing the subpoena route.
All right. So a half-hour traffic stop with 2 officers could be 4 hours of video footage then?
Oh, at least, because you've got 2 body cameras, so that's an hour of video footage. And then you'd have the 3 views of the video. Now, we try to negotiate with people all the time and say, do you want the main officer's video or do you want any and all video? And it seems like usually it's any and all video.
Okay. Mr. Marshall, do you have any questions?
No.
No. Do any other members of council have any questions? Anyone from the audience? Thank you, Chief.
Move forward.
It is unanimous then. Thank you. Item 2 on our agenda tonight is a recommendation to council regarding amending Chapter 915 of the Codified Ordinances to set standards for excessive strength wastewater discharge.
City engineer will be leading that one. As I texted her, I said I would probably put my own self to sleep if I tried to describe it. So leave it to her.
We're batting 1,000 tonight.
This isn't as riveting as chief. So this is about sewer and high-strength sewer. So it's essentially, over the last couple of years, we've been experiencing higher-strength users. They're typically our food users. And so we've been, in order to maximize our capacity at the facility, we encourage them to do pre-treatment. But because some of these facilities are older, they wouldn't be doing pre-treatment because they've been existing, and so as they grow, they just continue to send their wastewater our way. And we can treat it, but it does come at a higher cost, kind of like Ditto, even though it's a little bit different. And so we're saying, hey, can you put in a pre-treatment program, or we're going to charge you for the extra cost. It includes like increased aeration, like increased energy use. That's the highest expense on a wastewater treatment plant facility, is talking about aeration and any other kind of pump that you may need to pump it back to, I'm trying to stay really simple here. So to discharge it, essentially to clean it and discharge it to the river. So that's what these COD, TSS, and ammonia, or NH3, they are higher strength. That's what you see in higher strength wastewater. We have talked to the users, I guess I would say, or the customers that would receive a higher bill. Some of them actually, I think both of them that we talked to specifically, we said, hey, your bill may be going up to this if this comes, if this is enacted. And they said, hey, we're actually looking, at least 1 or 2 of them said, we're looking at doing pre-treatment, like potentially doing pre-treatment. So maybe this helps them do pre-treatment and lower their strength that's coming our way. So that's essentially what this is just asking for a modification to 915, which is a codified ordinance, talking about being able, when it's excessive high sewage strength, that we could then, and that's how it shows how we calculate it, then we would say, hey, we would bill you on a monthly basis if that is shown to be high. This is for our industrial users. Our industrial users, they're registered with our wastewater treatment plant. We meet with them a couple times a year. We kind of monitor their waste to see what they're bringing to us to make sure it's not something hazardous, that we are still able to treat it. So that's what this is all talking about.
I'm sorry, Mr. Turner.
Yeah, and so just to add to that, our recommendation does not go into effect until January 1st.
2026. And
we're communicating have communicated and will continue to communicate with those industrial facilities. Part of this code would allow us to suspend any kind of surcharges with the understanding, or if the company is in the process of
and showing progress,
installing their pre-treatment facilities and progressing.
Okay, that was one of my questions. I guess it's how are we knowing where the water is coming from? We have on-site testing with the sewage that comes in, and it's,
Yeah, for our industrial users, we monitor their discharge at their facility.
Okay.
And so that's so a typical residential, we're not monitoring your discharge. It's just for industrial higher strength users that we monitor their discharge because they may be discharging increased metals, they may be discharging increased oil and grease, and that affects our sewer. That affects, just an example, fast food places, right? They discharge oil and grease. I don't know that they're an industrial user. I'm just example, there's different uses and different chemicals that are used that they're discharging, and we need to make sure that we can continue to treat it and not that it's flowing through and going into the water. So we monitor them routinely on a monthly basis.
What's the total number of customers we feel that are in this range?
There are 8 permitted industries on the program.
There's 8 permitted industries, but I don't know that all of them would be an increased fee.
Two of the industries would be.
They can't, if you don't come to the microphone.
Yeah.
I was just going to repeat what you
This
said.
is Ken Parks, our wastewater superintendent.
Two of the industries are food producers, and they would be most affected by surcharges.
And do we feel that a 8-month advance notice gives them time to have a water treatment, or pre-treatment, that gives them plenty of time to
Yes, it does.
get started and, okay,
Yeah, and we've had discussions with these industries, so they are aware
they're aware.
of this program, yes.
Okay. Those two.
Ms. Marshall?
No, I have no questions.
Do any of the members of council have any questions? Any members in the audience? Do you have a recommendation?
Move forward.
Move forward.
It is unanimous to move forward. Moving on to our last item on the agenda tonight, we have a recommendation to council regarding acceptance of a couple different easements from the school system. Mr. Titterington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We've been discussing quite a bit with the Troy City Schools as they start their or progress, I guess, with their redevelopment of and their new buildings. Related to Hook Elementary, the North School site, I believe North School is their working title for now. They've done some replatting, and while they're doing the replatting, we'd like them to, we've asked them to codify or memorialize, I guess, some of the easements that are out there, particularly as they are moving current versus future footprint of where the buildings are. And so we are asking for execution of the documents to accept some storm, sanitary, and bike path easements as part of this project.
I did not have
And
any
again,
questions.
we are not asking for emergency legislation.
Thank you for clarifying. I did not have any questions. Mr. Twist?
I don't have any
Ms.
on this one.
I don't.
Do any of the members of council? Anyone in the audience? Do you have a recommendation?
Move forward.
Move forward.
It is unanimous to move forward. Is there anything else to come before the committee?
No.
No, sir.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.